I have never in my life made 2 videos in a day, but the White Fox changes kind of are rubbing me the wrong way, bro. These are just, they're too much. They're straight up giving her the Invis woman treatment, bro. Like they're just here buff, 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 like as if we weren't already winning enough games with the character as it was. Right? Like, okay, first of all, people were not playing the character right if they think that she needed like a ton of survivability buffs. Because look what I'm about to do right now, okay? I take high ground, I go join my Psylocke right here on the flank, I help her get a kill, right? Because hey, if you have a healer on the flank, then I can heal my flanker, and then we end up getting the kill. And we jumped them. We jumped them from back here. I mean, look at this. This is not like measurable in the stats. Look at my stats, bro. Where are my stats? Jesus Christ. I have 1 and 1. I only have 300 healing. Our Invis has 2,000, but I'm the one who got the kill, and I went to go support the play that my Psylocke made, right? Like this is classic, right? Like this is like unmeasurable like ways in which you can still play support without just heal botting, bro. And so if you think that the character needed just like tons of more heals and tons of more survivability and all this other shit, you were just wrong, bro. So let me just start off with her survivability, because that's mostly what they buffed, right? So she was very weak into dive, because she only has she has 2 tools, right? Well, she has 3 tools. Actually, she has her whole kit. What the fuck am I talking about? But if you're getting dove on and you don't land the Spirit Fox, right, to kind of loosen up their chain or their combo and to, you know, maybe get a free hit in, you're practically dead, right? Because even if you teleport to another teammate, you're usually in the fray still. Like you're usually the teammate that you're teleporting to. For as much as you may or may not want it, they're probably taking damage and under pressure. So even if you let's say you go to your other support, right? You TP to your other support. Well, now they're gonna dive both of you, because now you're close to them and you're easier to hit, right? It's gonna be very difficult for them to to miss that, right? So yes, she didn't have that many tools to, I guess, directly win against a diver if the White Fox themselves is not skilled, right? But if you do land the ability, right? Let's say you land the Spirit Fox, boom. Cool. Although that doesn't need to self-heal you to give you the advantage, you know? The TP is fine, right? Although it's on a 12-second cooldown, you have another one, right? You can go into your melee form, try and brawl it out with whoever's you know, diving you or whatever, which again is a little bit difficult to hit, because if you don't land the initial dash, you're not going to get the second one, right? And at that point, you're just not going to get that much damage. So two abilities that require skill, right? The Spirit Fox and the dash from her melee form, bro. If that is not enough, and especially in a with the state of the game being what it is right now, right? Like where the neutral does matter quite a bit more. I mean, it legitimately was a skill issue. She had plenty of tools. She was doing just fine. Sure, maybe I made it to Celestial too, right? Just this weekend, playing on this character with a mostly positive win rate. If other players, and honestly, I've seen a lot of players, a lot of support players especially, who don't understand the concept of being an aggressive support and you know, being preemptive with the way that you support and not just reactive, they're just not ranking up, right? Like they're just like how they used to, because you have to play the game different. This is not the same game. So let's start off with buff number 1. Her full tails. Now this one's not as egregious, right? So when you come out of spawn, you have full tails, which is fine, right? Honestly, she only really needed 1, because the spawn camp and the spawn hold was just like kind of ridiculous, right? Let's say you're on Yggdrasil and you're on attack, right? If you're just getting completely stomped and you're playing White Fox, then every time you come out of spawn, you have no tails. I mean, you're categorically weaker than every other sport in the game. At that point, like, you're weaker than Adam and Ultron, right? Just in the neutral, because at least they have full access to all of their abilities coming out of spawn. So yes, having a tail, I think only 1 tail was necessary, but having all 3, not that bad. Like, you know, it's fine. Like, okay, now you can. If you only had the 1, you had the choice between either doing the Spirit Dash or going into melee form, right? But now you have the opportunity to do both, which, okay, fine, whatever. It's not that bad in a vacuum. But buff number 2 self heal on her spirit fox. That is on a 6-second cooldown. It is very low. And the thing is, the Spirit Fox doesn't even need to land. It's like Bucky. You know, you just, oh, I press button, I get heal. Yay! Like, what the fuck? Like, oh, it's like the Moon Knight players, like landing a Nonk and doing a fuck ton of damage. Like, oh, like, give me some skin. Give me some skin. Oh yeah, I get 50 healing. Yeah, cool. Like, what the fuck are we doing, bro? What they should have done. Okay, actually, I'm not even done talking about why this thing is bad, bro. Like, I'm coughing. Why is it bad? Why do they need it? Okay, probably because, okay, if you're getting Dove and you don't land the Spirit Fox, well, now at least you have the benefit of, oh, I have 50 healing, right? Now they have to land an extra ability or an extra hit or whatever, right? For free. But the thing is that her neutral was like so important, bro. So the self-heal kind of regresses her back to like the state of supports and where they were last season, right? So it's like when you had Invis and Cloak and Dagger that have all the survivability, Cloak and Dagger can just heal herself by hitting the fucking ground, right? Like, that's why you see a lot of Cloak and Daggers just like, I'm gonna shoot at this wall and I'm gonna heal and I'm gonna get so much value and whatever, right? And it was just, you know, it was boring. It's boring. I don't like playing that. I don't play that character at all, bro. Although I'm a tankman and I play Adam Ultron, people ask me to swap. I do not play Cloak and Dagger. I will not play Invis. I will not play these stupid characters because they're just too free. It's just too free. It's a lot of stuff that it doesn't require skill. Look what I just did. Look what I just did. I missed. Look, I missed this ability. And I guess what happened? I don't get fucking rewarded for it. Instead, I go into my Spirit Fox, my melee mode, because that allows me a little bit of self-healing, but it's not enough. And that's how it should be. That's how the game should be. The strange way to play. The strange way to play. I didn't. I fucked up. I was too far ahead. Nobody could help me. That's how the game needs to be played. And when you give her stupid shit like that, like, okay, imagine if I had my 50 self-heal on that. Like, sure, I still would have died, but, like, there was a chance, right? Like, it's just extra survivability that this character didn't need, right? If I would have just positioned better, if I would have been a little bit farther back with my teammates when the Strange pushed up, right? Like, I probably wouldn't have died at that easily or that fast, right? But yeah, self-heals just really just puts us backwards. It puts us backwards, right? And especially this, like, these support players that are not ranking up now because you cannot just like a heal bot, right? In the back, you actually have to go out and make plays. When you give her this self-sustain, this self-survivability, right? It does promote more heal bot. So, but okay, let's move on to buff number 3. Healing over time on her teleport, right? Now this one again is not that bad in a vacuum. Like, if they would have just given her this on her own, like, it would have been fine. But the thing is, again, it reduces the skill ceiling, and and she already has how many other abilities that the self-heal, right? She had the TP, like instant, right? The instant 75, and she has her melee form, right? Like, that's okay. That is fine. That is okay. So now you're giving her a little bit more healing over time. Okay. What does this actually do? It doesn't really do much because you're sacrificing some instant heal, right? So now it's like, okay, if you're getting dove on and you're trying to peel for your support, you can peel for your support a little bit better, right? You can survive the dive a little bit better because now it's like, okay, if you're getting dove, they have to break the shield and they actually have to out damage the healing. So it gives you a little bit more survivability, but again, it's survivability that you didn't need, right? You just need to position better. It really just is a skill issue most of the time. So the ult change. So they made it so that she doesn't lose health whenever she buffs her teammates. Which I get what they were trying to do there. I really do. And it's an interesting idea. It really is. I mean, 900 health, right? Like, your health is resources. It gives you something else to think about. But so removing the 100 healing from buffing your teammates, I don't think is a bad thing, because like it was just clunky. It was just a clunky ability, right? Like because okay, when you buff somebody, you have to physically turn around, aim it at them, shoot it, and that takes, you know, a second, right? Whereas you could just heal your teammate, right? So you could just stomp on the ground, right? So there wasn't really much of a point in buffing your teammate, right? When you can just heal them. again, like like the game doesn't really promote that much skill. And oh look, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Look at that. I died for it. And our team loses the team fight. Who would have thought? But yeah, no, I'm ranting here. But okay, removing the 100 healing or the 100 damage that she takes from buffing her teammates, I don't think is really gonna break her ult. If anything, it'll make her a little bit more incentivized to use the buff to her teammates a little bit. But I think that they should just kind of change the ult. I almost feel like the ult shouldn't have been the Fox to begin with. I feel like they should have done it where similar to Gambit, which I don't know. Hold on. Let me finish. Similar to Gambit, where like you just look at your teammates, whoever's in front of you, they all get this buff where they get self heal, small amount of healing over time, and life steal. Sorry, what the fuck did I say? Unstoppable, heal over time, and life steal. Those three effects. And honestly, that would have been fine. That would have been perfect. It's not broken like Gambit, right? But as long as it doesn't last like fucking 10 seconds, right? You make it 6. And honestly, an ult like this, even making it last 7 or 8 seconds probably wouldn't be that bad. But just buffing your teammates and it only lasting 3 seconds, it's just not really worth it to me, in my opinion, in this ult. But the buff that they gave to the ult, I mean, it's gonna promote more, using your abilities on your teammates without really having the artificial downfall, like the forced, like, okay, you have to lose health, but what do these buffs do? What do these buffs do, really? All right, so what's gonna happen on Friday when these buffs come into effect, right? She is gonna be a lot less punishable for making mistakes, right? So like, if you saw you remember at the beginning when the Cloak and Dagger went up there, got me off the high ground and killed me, I used my Spirit Fox, but I didn't get any healing from it because I was positioned badly, right? I should have gone down there with my Moon Knight and supported him and been with him, right? Where, it would have been a little bit more difficult for me to die. But since I went up there, I thought I could take the 1v1 and, I was blinded. I made a mistake, whatever. But in that specific situation, if I would have gotten 50 self-healing from that, I wouldn't have died and I wouldn't have been punished for my mistake, right? So that's a perfect example right there. And she has too much self-sustain on too short of a cooldown. So this is where I say, like, this is the Invis treatment, right? Like, she has a push, she has a pull, she has a jump, she has a self shield, she has all these fucking buttons, and now it's like she went from having 2 ways to self heal to 4, right? From throwing a Spirit Fox to standing inside of your shield, right? So it's just you're just not, and now that it's a heal, now that her Spirit Fox heals, now you're gonna have to look at the Spirit Fox ability itself, right? Like, in the future, if this ends up being too strong, then you're gonna need to either nerf the amount of self healing, or nerf the duration of the Spirit Fox, or nerf the Foxtail like generation or something, right? Like, now you're gonna create like a problem for yourself. Same thing with Invis Self Shield. Nobody was complaining about Invis Self Shield, like the healing that it did, until they gave her a Self Shield. Now it's like, you gotta nerf the amount of healing per second. Now it regenerates slower, and it's like, if you just don't give her a Self Shield, then you won't create all these problems. So they're really creating a problem with themselves with giving this person so much sustain on such a short cooldown. I mean, it's really bad. And the worst part, these buffs don't add any offensiveness, right? Like, they didn't buff any of her damage, which was like probably the one thing that I really would have wanted. Like, I really wish that her melee form could have done a little bit more, could have done a little bit more damage. Maybe her primary fire on direct hits could have done a little bit more damage. Like, there were plenty of ways for them to go about it. And they put all the effort in the self-sustain and in her healing to promote, again, a heal-botted playstyle instead of promoting a more aggressive playstyle. So what do I think that they should have done? I think that they should have done, first of all, coming out of spawn, maybe just make it 1 tails, not 3, except for coming out of ult. Because, coming out of ult and having 3 tails does make sense. Because how it is right now, when you ult, again, it does punish punish you for positioning badly and stuff like that, right? Like if you come out of Fox form and you're in a really bad spot, you have 0 tails, right? So you're gonna die, right? Well, most of the time you're gonna die. So having it now that she has tails coming out of ult, at least she's not weaker than she is, you know, coming out of the ult than she was coming into the ult. Because like if you have 3 tails and you decide, okay, shit, my team needs this ult, I'm gonna ult right now, boom, and then you finish the ult and now you have 0 tails, like you're just weaker, right? Like that just doesn't really make that much sense. So I'm okay with having three tails coming out of ult, but coming out of spawn, 1 was fine, in my opinion. What they should have done, number 2, is just buff her damage in melee mode. Like, she doesn't really do enough damage to really make it worth it a lot of the time. Really, what you're using the melee form for is for the displacement. And if you miss that displacement, then you're kind of cooked, you know? So it's just, and it's, if they would have done it, if she can do a little bit more damage in her melee form, then it would be more worth using. It doesn't have to do more healing. The healing is fine, but just, you know, she needs to be able to kill stuff. Next, I think they should have buffed her primary damage on direct hits only. So I think right now it does like 50 damage, oh, probably not even 50. But let's assume it does 50, right? 50 damage per direct hit and then 25 damage to the bounce. I think it should have done maybe 60, because at 60 it would, I think it would break a break point. It may or may not. Who knows at this point? I forgot. But yeah, buff the damage on her primary hits. But don't buff the primary healing. Do not buff the primary healing. That's one thing they definitely cannot do. And maybe a small healing over time on the shield. I think that one's okay as well, because it kind of didn't make sense that, you know, at least, well, when the character came out and you self-shield and you did in the practice range and you were at full health, you almost assumed that you had a little bit of healing inside of that little sphere. But honestly, if it's just 20 healing over time, it's not that bad. It doesn't break the game that much, and does give her a little, again, she is a little bit weaker towards dive, and I guess with giving her a little bit of healing inside of that, you know, makes her a little bit better at dealing with dive. But I don't think it's that bad. It's not that bad in a vacuum. Now, again, it is bad because there's three all of these huge buffs now all together, right? You can't just look at one ability on its own. You have to look at the whole picture. So right now, adding the healing over time in her little bubble, kind of, you know, it's a bit too much. But if they did that and only that, I feel like I probably would have been okay with it. So what do we do now? What do we do now with this character? Okay, this is how the character is. This is how the character is going to be in the next couple days. So what do we do now? No more buffs. That's it. No more buffs. Do not buff this character no more. Leave her there. Leave her there for a while. And honestly, like, let people learn how to play, because they made all these buffs 1 week into the into the new season, and I don't mind like other DPS and stuff like that getting buffed or nerfed in here and there, but the thing is, support plays so much more different now than what it did a week ago. So I think you got to give people a little bit more time to kind of figure out the support role and what it's going to look like now and what needs to be done. So it's you know, and just learn how to play the game now, because this is a new game. This is practically a new game. So just give people time. No more buffs, probably for like at least a season. At least a season, in my opinion. But yeah, anyways, what do you guys think? If you were playing White Fox and complaining about her survivability, from a Celestial White Fox myself at the beginning of the season, not a Celestial at the end of season 7.5, by the way. Those are two completely different fucking players. But as a Celestial player right now who was playing White Fox and Celestial 2, it's a skill issue. It really is. You gotta position better. You gotta learn how to play the game better. You gotta be preemptive. You gotta take initiative. You gotta take space. You gotta do all of these things, right? You can't just heal bot in the back of the map. Just like I showed you at the beginning. Invis had 2,000 healing at the beginning, right? Just keeping her tanks up. I had 300, but I got a kill. I went to go support my Psylocke on the off angle. We made them turn around, and we got half of the point like that, right? With only 300 healing. So there is a way to win in this game without, you know, just padding the fuck out of your stats. So Anyways, that's it, guys. That's the end of my rant. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'm gonna make some food. I'm hungry.